have a piranha. I have 2 piranha. 2 more, 3 more, 2 more, 10, another one, 11, another one, 12, 2 more, 14, another one, a big one. Look at them. 15, another one, makes 16, another one, 17, another one, 18, a really big one, 19, last but not least, 20. Okay, so I think first and foremost, we all need to be abundantly honest with ourselves. We never expected the 2,000-gallon aquarium to look like this. We expected the piranha to all hide, lay around, be skittish, and the tank, we often also thought they'd all hide in the back, or kind of where I created this like piranha, and they do kind of pack back there at nighttime. But during the day, this is it all day long. Absolutely amazing. I believe the tank looks absolutely fantastic like this, incredibly phenomenal, and just simply perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, it can be argued that, oh, what a waste of a 2,000-gallon aquarium, but I could look at your fish tanks and think, what a waste of that tank. I wouldn't have done this and I wouldn't have done that. The goal here is to be happy and satisfied and experience things as an individual aquarist, as opposed to doing what you think everybody else is going to like, or what's trendy, or something along those lines. I've never seen anything like this in a home aquarium. 2,000-gallon piranha tank dedicated to red belly piranhas, making it look natural. I mean, you guys got to be honest. This looks like something you would see in a public aquarium, not in somebody's backyard. This is absolutely gorgeous. So let's run down through a few aspects of this aquarium, kind of breaking it down and seeing what everything is. We've only got, first and foremost, there's this massive background in it, and it's not even siliconed or held in place with anything other than just rocks at the bottom, so nobody can get into it, like real river rocks. So nobody can, and it doesn't lift off or anything like that. I did drill in the top, my bad. I secured the top but not the bottom. The bottom was just rocks. I'd have to drain this tank absolutely completely and dry it out to silicone it in place and whatnot. I didn't want to do that. This main tree over here, the fish can swim inside of it and outside of it. As you can see, the top of it is open as well as exposed. These ferns are fake. This tank will look the same in 10 years, in 5 years. That's the benefit of using kind of fake plants. What we see right now is what it's going to look like in 6 months type of thing, outside of the fact that it'll probably look a lot more natural because we'll get some algae growth on it and whatnot. This half tree over here that we added is part of an original tree that was actually in the 2000 as well, and then this one here is relatively new as well. But it's so heavy that I found that it's like, it can't stand up on its own anymore, so I had to lean it up against the background, which is fine. I like it kind of going out that way. It gives the fish some dark spots as well. You can see where the shadowing and whatnot is, but all day long, this is what they do. We've got these piranha, I believe 5 years ago. I didn't measure them all, but I would say the smallest is 6 inches, upwards of 8 inches. You also have to remember that these guys are gonna grow to probably be 3 inches in thickness. Adult red belly piranha are incredibly large, just massive fish. You would often even consider them or confuse them for a pacu because of how big these guys can actually get. They're already eating, they're doing fantastic, but obviously we do need to add in probably some top level fish. I'm thinking guppies or something like that so they can constantly proliferate and breed on their own. I'm not a huge fan of the guppies being in a tank with piranha. I'd rather something a little more faster moving, so I'm thinking giant danios or maybe some sort of neon tetras, cardinal tetras, maybe perhaps something along those lines, or just do a few test fish and see how they last in here, because if you go to public aquariums, the piranha is always with something else in it. However, I don't think they need a dither fish. I think they just enjoy their environment as is. So let's talk about the tank in full. So I haven't had the opportunity to tidy up out here just yet. Again, in some of the past videos we talked about, I got to get all this equipment off the floor and whatnot. But this is a 2,000-gallon aquarium that I built out of concrete. It's wrapped in a fake rock with fake moss, fake vines, just looking absolutely incredible. Ties into the wall. Remember, we built that wall back there. The air one is doing fantastic over there. We built that tank, everything over here. But the tank is 10 feet long, 7 feet front to back, and 4 feet tall. As for filtration, we're depending on two methods. See that really big pump right there, the white one? That's pumping out to the 2,000 gallon at around 3,000 gallons per hour. It's actually a Ecotech L1 Vectra pump. They're still working after many years, like 8 years of use. Anyways, that water's pumping out of these hoses here, connects to this return over here. It goes up and over and back into the 2,000. However, it drains from back here and goes into these 2-inch ABS pipes down into this 180-gallon aquarium where it's mechanically filtered and then begins going through biological filtration like these koi filter brushes. Massive amounts of biological ceramic type media, typically referred to as Backy shower media. Then a huge container of fluidized filtration, and then again more of these filter brushes. Now I like these because they come on these little hooks, right? And bacteria is going to grow all along this, and you kind of jam them in there. So there's really nothing to get through, but you can see all the detritus and stuff building up. It's because it's stopping it. And then finally returns to the main aquarium. And this is a 180-gallon sump, just absolutely jam-packed with biological media. However, there's more than one pump down there, and that's being returned up here to the 375-gallon, which is currently housing my Asian arowana. All planted as well, looking absolutely fantastic. He's only been in there for a couple days because he kind of comes over here and watches me because my desk is over there, so he's just always watching me. But so we have 375 gallons, 180 gallons, and obviously 2,000 gallons all diluting into the aquarium. And they're sharing just that 180-gallon tank. Well, not really. We also have an absolutely enormous canister filter. I put a pump in behind the background that's constantly sucking the water out and then returning into the front of the tank. That filter is rated for up to 2,000 gallons, and then obviously the 180, easily a couple thousand gallons. So we've got massive amounts of filtration. One of the returns is coming through these two trees here, and the other one's coming through on the other side of this. So all the water's kind of meeting in the middle and mixing and mingling throughout the tank. No equipment in the tank that you can see, just absolutely natural. And like I said, the piranha are simply just always out. I don't even know if I could scare them. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Like they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. But then they come right back out. Isn't that incredible? Let's take a look from the other side. I got to clean this side of the glass, or well, this is a 1.6-inch thick acrylic, but we can kind of see it from all angles as well. Now, if I take the lids off, which are just greenhouse roofing panels, watch this. Now, because the light doesn't have to penetrate these lids, I'll give you an example. Now look at the bottom of the aquarium. You see that shimmer? That looks really cool, but then over on the other sides, you can see just how much those lids kind of diffuse the lighting and stop it from kind of doing that really nice shimmering. However, if I want, I can take these lids off because piranhas aren't really jumpers. And if they do jump, well, they've got about 8 inches to jump before they even get out of the tank, which is nicely covered. The light is just one pendant light rated at 60 watts. I'm not so sure if I'm going to switch this tank off pendant lights, and because I'm not running or trying to grow any plants in here, I don't really care how powerful the light looks. I just need it to look good and light up the tank. to a certain extent. Now, I do believe Piranha tanks look far better with dramatic lighting, and that's kind of what it's giving, because if we put this lid back on top of the lids, you can see exactly how much it's lighting. Now, if I put it up higher, this circumference is going to increase. It would potentially, if I put it all the way to the ceiling, put this all the way up there, it would potentially light the entire tank, but you can see I've already maxed out almost 7 feet this way. So if I go up, it'll increase that way, but it'll increase this way, and we'll get light spillage. And right now, we don't have any. But the Arowana being out right now, the Arowana tank just looks absolutely incredible. We took one of those lights off of him, and I was going to put it on the Piranha tank, but it's just too much lighting, and I think he doesn't necessarily require it, but he's really, really enjoying this tank. I thought he was going to look a lot bigger in it than he does, but you got to remember, this is 8 feet long, 3 feet front to back, and 2 feet tall. I built this tank originally for Asian Arowana, and it would last them for a lifetime, but that was before I knew I was going to build the 2000, or before the gallery even happened. And I built the 2,000-gallon aquarium, and he was in it for several years. He's been moved around here and there, but he was in the 2000 for several years until he's gotten to this size, and he no longer tolerates tank mates. I think he just got cranky with his age. So I want you to imagine, especially if I clean up the gallery, how amazing just this side, the north end of the aquarium gallery, is. The electric eel in his 180-gallon aquarium, just absolutely continuously active, looping these logs. Just awesome, awesome tank, and he's simply enjoying it as well. Then a 375-gallon fully planted Asian Arowana aquarium. I want you to know that, like, it's for people to say these sentences. This is a fully planted Asian Arowana aquarium. You rarely see them, and people simply usually don't do them in the home hobby because of, the risks of plants, and you typically want to do bare bottom just for, better water quality, ease of cleaning and whatnot. And someday maybe this will go bare bottom, but unlikely. And then we have an absolutely amazing electric eel aquarium. Escaped perfectly for him, and I've never seen him this active. And you guys will remember, we moved him into here a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, and he's still acting like this. Usually he's pretty active for a few days, and when I move him tanks, and it can be relatively confusing, but then he just goes back to hiding and laying around. But in this tank, this is all he does all day long. Whether the lights are on or off, this is what he does. Lights off, he's usually far more active, but lights on, he's the same, just moving around. Just super cool. And the fact that I just look over here, and we got the 375 Asian Arowana tank, and then I'm like, oops, look over here. We have a 2,000-gallon, beautifully natural-looking Piranha aquarium. Again, a sentence you'd probably never hear. And then when you get sick of the fish and you kind of want to leave, you can't, because now we're confronted with a 700-gallon, fully planted Discus, pufferfish, geophagus, you name it, tetras, angelfish. Just an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful tank. But this one, the lights definitely got to change because I can't even film it. We're getting so much light refraction, and it doesn't matter. I've tried polarized lenses, etc. It has zero impact on it. But this tank is doing absolutely incredible. Where's Tyrese? He's usually out by now. I don't see him. Is he back there? No. Oh, yeah, we even have African glass cats in here. Siamese algae eaters. Let's see who spots Tyrese first. When he's sucking, or when he's still kind of resting or sleeping, he just finds a place in the plants. I'm starting to get cyanobacteria in here. I gotta do more water changes, but he's in there somewhere. Where are you, Tyrese? He might come out. I think Tyrese is on vacation. I don't see him. Some tetras back there. I legitimately don't know where he is. Is he up here somewhere? Where the hell did he go? Let's give the tetras and stuff some flake food. The lights just came on, so maybe he's just sleeping still. I don't know. Tyrese is relatively lazy. He spends most of his time kind of smiling at me and swimming at the front of the tank, but right now, I don't see them at all. Well, a few fish are out right now, but they'll all come. Look, they all come in droves. Here they come. It's like a never-ending little thing back there that they just continuously come. You know, Siamese algae eaters are. Look, they just nonstop. Okay, I told you, there's fish in here. The tank is just so darn big. It's 8 feet long, 5 feet wide, 2.5 feet tall. But I'm kind of stressing out about where Tyrese is because usually I can spot him. Is that you? No, that's a discus. Do you guys see him at all? He's probably looking at me. Usually I spot him with his googly eyes, just like kind of bouncing around like this. Damn, I mean, he's got nowhere to go. He's definitely in this tank somewhere. Let's see if I can't use a spotlight to kind of see everywhere better. This is the downside to like the 700 and it being so big and planted and stuff. Like, fish disappear for a few days and then you'll see them a few days later. But I know Tyrese, and he likes to like hide. Or, well, I wouldn't say hide. He relaxes sometimes. What's back there? See, he usually lays around back there. What the hell? Damn, Tyrese is gone. Okay, let's drop a handful of shrimp in there and see if they'll eat it. Just like old times. Yep. Probably not as aggressive as they once were, but we got to give these guys time to acclimate to their aquarium. As they're probably going to be able to eat more in here. I'll be able to feed them more, simply because I can remove the uneaten food with a large net if I see it, which is incredibly difficult to do in a planted tank. But with way more room to grow and a bigger diet, these guys are going to explode in growth. And if you want to see that, you're not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you do, or you're going to miss it. But before you go, recommend a fish that I should add to this aquarium, like 100 of them type of thing, or should I just leave it alone? Because it's darn near perfect right now. Absolutely incredible. Second question, would you get in this? I know I wouldn't. I just seen his butt. I found him. All I had to do, there he is. All I had to do was add in a bit of shrimp juice. He thinks with his gut, so man, he had me stressed there for a second. But that's the problem with massive tanks like this, is like sometimes fish just disappear. And people will be like, hey, where's this fish or where's that fish? I think he was just sleeping. I don't know. Pufferfish are incredibly intelligent, so it's hard to say. Tyrese, it's like literally over here, dude. He'll get it all. Or maybe not. Maybe, is he acting? Okay, yeah, you're fine. You're good, over here. Maybe some down there. There you go. He's alive! But he did take a bite out of him. It's healing, but he did take a bite. And I think he just confused it for something. I don't know. He hasn't bit anybody else. Oh yeah. Big thing of tetras. What a lovely tank. They all hide. Well, to be fair, the lights just came on and that could be pretty stressful. But isn't it interesting to know that the Piranha tank simply doesn't? Like, they don't care. Super duper cool. See, this is the problem with the planted, is I dropped in a piece of food, and luckily I dropped it so that the Asian Arawak can easily get it, but he was only moved a few days ago. I suspect he won't eat for like a week or two. They're moody like that, but if this was like fell over there, I would never see it. It would just rot the tank. So I'm gonna leave it there. He sees it, it's nice and bright, and when he goes over and gets it, he'll be fine. So if I come over here to this side of the gallery and I wanna watch him, he comes out and he swims. So I know a lot of people are probably gonna say like, oh, all he does, the poor guy, is sit in this corner. Yeah, because look, He sees me. He sees me sitting over there. And when I come over, he'll swim around. It's not a big deal. He might even go after that right now. Just to be a good boy. No, I'll have to remove it. Not a big deal. But yeah, super awesome. That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next one.